Dust motes hang in the still air. Decades have passed since the heavy wooden doors of this barn were last pulled shut, sealing the machine away from the elements and the eyes of the world. Beneath the grime rests the distinct long hood, dual scoops, and quad headlights, identifying this specifically as a 1971 Plymouth GTX. Time has left a heavy mark. The original F6 green paint is buried under a thick layer of surface rust and dirt. The GTX badges are barely legible, and all 4 tires have flattened, sinking into the hard-packed dirt floor. Left in this environment, the steel will eventually oxidize into dust. Saving it requires immediate intervention to preserve a definitive piece of American muscle before the damage becomes irreversible. Running hands along the wheel arches and tapping the frame rails reveals the extent of the decay. The metal sounds dry and brittle, indicating that moisture from the dirt floor has steadily migrated into the lower chassis points. Lifting the heavy hood reveals the factory original 440 big block V8 resting between the shock towers, dormant but entirely intact. Removing it from the barn is a delicate operation. Because the rusted chassis is compromised, winching it directly could tear the frame. The steel chains must be meticulously routed to distribute the pulling force across the strongest remaining structural points. Once dragged into the daylight and loaded onto a transport vehicle, the GTX leaves the barn behind, arriving hours later under the clinical LED lights of a professional restoration shop. Reversing this decay requires unyielding adherence to the car's original factory identity. Every repair and every replacement panel must match the 1971 specifications, with no modern aesthetic compromises. Before a single bolt is turned, the mechanics treat the car like an archaeological site. Every bracket, wire, and retaining clip is photographed and logged to ensure an exact reference map exists for the eventual rebuild. In 1971, these cars were products of high-speed industrial assembly. However, fitting these heavy body panels required manual alignment, a level of craftsmanship the mechanics must now replicate by hand. The teardown starts with the heavy exterior components. Impact wrenches remove massive chrome bumpers. Quad headlight assemblies are unbolted, and the steel hood is lifted. Inside the cabin, the brittle, cracked black factory bucket seats are hauled out, followed immediately by the degraded interior door panels and the dry rotted carpeting. The original glass requires much slower, precise handling. The hardened rubber seals are sliced away so the windshield, side glass, and rear window can be pressed out without fracturing. Finally, the electrical wiring and the last remaining weather seals are pulled from the channels, leaving nothing behind but a bare steel shell. Tearing the machine down to its barest components is the only way to expose the hidden flaws that would otherwise undermine the restoration. With the shell stripped, the harsh reality of the hidden rust damage is revealed. The floor pans are riddled with holes, and the lower chassis rails show severe corrosion where water collected over the decades. This diagram shows how original 1971 automotive steel distributes weight. As oxidation creates pits and flakes, the material thins out and loses its structural integrity, compromising the entire vehicle. Mechanics surgically cut away the rot with angle grinders. Fresh, accurately measured steel panels are clamped into place and secured with MIG welding, fusing new metal into the original body. The welds are ground flush before mechanics apply thin layers of body filler, block sanding the surfaces by hand until the door gaps measure perfectly parallel. The straightened body rolls into the paint booth for primer. Once sanded smooth, the spray guns lay down the factory-correct F6 green paint, followed by a thick, highly reflective clear coat. After curing, the finish is wet sanded and polished by hand. Finally, the mechanics carefully align and install the original-style black GTX side stripe. Achieving this finish is the ultimate proof of restoring the uncompromising visual identity of the 1971 GTX. While the paint cures, attention shifts back to the engine. The 440 big block is chemically cleaned, its cylinders are honed, and it is reassembled with fresh internal components. Suspended from a hydraulic hoist, the iron V8 is slowly lowered into the engine bay, requiring careful maneuvering to align the block with the painted chassis mounts. To handle the engine's output, mechanics install restored factory suspension components and rebuild the heavy-duty brake systems at all 4 corners. In the cabin, the tactile elements are revived. New upholstery is stretched tight over the bucket seat frames, and the original dashboard gauges are polished until the numerals are crystal clear. Combining a functioning mechanical heartbeat with a restored driver's environment bridges the gap between a static museum piece and a living machine. The exterior assembly reaches its final stage. Freshly polished chrome bumpers are aligned tight to the body. New rubber weather seals lock the glass in place, and the original GTX badges are pinned back onto the fenders. The driver's side door swings open. A mechanic settles into the black bucket seat and grips the steering wheel of the completed car for the very first time. The key slides into the ignition. A quick turn illuminates the dashboard lights, followed by the heavy, rhythmic churning of the starter motor. The cylinders finally catch. The 440 V8 fires to life with a deep roar, sending a visible vibration through the chassis for the first time in decades. Rolling out of the garage and into the late afternoon sun, the glossy F6 green paint reflects the sky. The GTX pulls onto the open asphalt, its aggressive lines cutting through the golden hour light. This grueling restoration process successfully reversed decades of decay, returning an irreplaceable Mopar legend to its rightful place on the road.